Hello everyone, Simon Keeling here, Saturday the 11th of February. Well, what a bitter one it was last night, minus 16 degrees at Hull Beach, and widely minus 10 to minus 14 across southern parts of the country, but by contrast, the north and west was much milder. Now, tonight doesn't look to be quite so widely cold, but across southern parts of England, it is going to get almost as cold again, and across East Anglia too, especially where you've still got some snow lying. It's in those areas where we're seeing the lowest of the temperatures. Now, the GFS here has had a guess at predicting where the lowest temperatures are going to be, and you can see them here kind of through parts of London, running down through Surrey and into parts of Sussex. I think that's probably a correct area for them. I think it's gone a little bit too optimistic though, minus 9. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see a minus 12 or a minus 13 once again tonight in that area. Elsewhere, still quite a sharp frost across much of England. Look, minus 3s to minus 4s, perhaps down to minus 6s or 7s. If you've got a snow cover though, you could again dip quickly to a minus 10. But to the north and the west, that's where cloud is increasing, and so that's where we're going to be milder again once again tonight. So let's take a look at the detail then of the forecast for the coming few days. This is how things shape up just at the moment. This forecast is from the GFS model from Weather Online. The time it's valid for is up here in the top left hand corner. This was the early hours of this morning, and you can see high pressure out towards the east, high pressure out towards the west, and this line here, this coloured line, is the front that was lying through central parts of the country down through Scotland. And when I say central parts of the country, I mean kind of central parts of the UK and Ireland, running down through Scotland and into Ireland too. Now, as we run the sequence through, you'll notice how that front kind of slips southwards through the course of this afternoon and into tomorrow. It fades away, but it is still lying through here, so it's still through England and Wales through tonight and into tomorrow, and the result of that is going to be, I think, a murky day across much of England, Wales and Southern Ireland on Sunday. I think plenty of drizzle around and some low cloud covering the hills, and just mist and murk and foggy in places too, as the milder air starts to come in over some very, very cold ground. Should be a little bit brighter up towards Scotland and northern parts of Ireland, but tomorrow really is one of those days that you normally see across the wastelands of Canada, you know, when they've got the really cold air and the mild air comes in off the sea and generates that low cloud and fog. I think really that's what tomorrow is going to be like. But it does stay dominated by dry weather. Okay, so into Sunday night and into Monday, we start to pick up more of a northwesterly look coming down through Scotland. This could just produce one or two wintry showers for the Shetlands and for Orkney through Monday. So into Monday then, the flow turns more into the north down this eastern coast. One or two showers are likely down here. I think elsewhere, although that looks a cold direction, the high is out towards the west, and if you follow the isobars back, look, all the way down, you'll see that that air actually generates itself across the Atlantic, so by the time it gets through us, it isn't actually that desperately cold. It's kind of 6 and 7 degrees. Certainly warmer than what we've had recently, so that northwesterly is in, and it looks like it is going to be dry. Overnight into Tuesday, a slight frost to come, and then Tuesday itself probably a little bit cooler, I think, for northern and eastern parts of the country. I think one or two wintry showers across northern and eastern Scotland down through eastern coast. Out towards the west though, that's where we've got this northwesterly. And again, broken cloud, I think generally dry, and temperature's not too bad, 6 and 7 degrees. Then into next week, where we see a gradual collapse away of the high being pushed away down to the south, and the collapse away of that northwesterly flow. It tends to become more westerly, so I think for many of us it is a milder week, 7s and 8s. But notice across Scotland, follow those isobars back, look, they're starting to come from a colder direction, off Greenland, travelling across the North Atlantic. So I think Scotland sees a dip in temperature as we get in towards Thursday, and certainly as this front moves its way into northern parts of Scotland through Thursday, I think we could find that turn to sleet and snow over the hills, and some really cold air coming in behind. Again, just follow the isobars back, look, and you can see where that cloud is, where that air is coming from. It's coming off Greenland and it's coming south. Of course, I did say this was Greenland. It's not. This is up towards the northeast of Canada, going up through Newfoundland. Of course it is. Get your facts right, Keane. So there we are. So dry, so it's cold weather coming in to the north. And then as we get through into Friday, well, a general slippage to colder conditions. This cooler air coming south again through Friday and into next weekend. Now, this has been a theme of the models over the last few days, and they've picked up on this quite well. This idea that the cooler air does start to slip its way southwards into the back end of the week and into next weekend, bringing some fronts and troughs south, turning conditions more unsettled, excuse me, and perhaps bringing some wintry outbreaks. Now, I'm not certain exactly how persistent those wintry outbreaks will be just at the moment, but it could be that we do see some fairly heavy outbreaks of snow across northern and western Scotland, perhaps Northern Ireland too, tending to be more showery than anything else, but still enough to be producing some cover. Down to the south it's colder, less in the way of showers, but you'll notice how through the weekend, look, the model is trying to bring in a cold northerly blast. This would be a return to winter conditions for a few days, and this looks entirely reasonable for, I think it'll be probably late next weekend into the early part of the week after. So, you know, we could go back into cold conditions during that following week, but on a northerly, not on an easterly, and that could bring some wintry conditions with it. And then the GFS, as we go through, tries to build the high back out to the west again, a colder north to northwesterly flow, and yeah, I can see that developing once again once we've got rid of that cold air. So it could be the temperatures do take a dip again towards the end of the month. And if we just take a look at how the ensemble forecasts see those temperatures, let's just take a look at the temperature trace. This is for London. Notice how this is the really cold stuff just at the moment. This goes ahead, look, to the 27th of February. Here's that rise in temperature during the coming week, but look, here's that dip off again during the beginning part of the week after next, and then a gradual rise. And this looks to be an acceptable temperature profile. 0 degrees is running across here, so you see we're above freezing, but it is certainly going to be colder. That's Birmingham for the same time, that's Manchester, and that's Glasgow. You can see much colder air in Glasgow during that beginning part of the week. You can get these charts if you go to weather charts at the top of the screen there, and then just scroll down the left hand side here. You'll see that there is the GFS ensemble. Click on the UK cities and all the information is there for you. Okay, so this is how the 8-day average charts look across Europe for a week from today through to the 19th of February. And notice that we're keeping the southeast there from the GFS model cold, and much of Europe stays in this really cold conditions. They really are in the refrigerator, aren't they? But up towards the north and the west, so we find these milder conditions starting to move in. For the second week, this is the week running from the 19th through to the 27th, so up to the end of the month. Just look what's happening. It brings us back into cold conditions again. These are temperatures 1 and 2 degrees below normal, and again I can buy this. I always said that temperatures would be around normal or just below normal for the time of year. This is a little bit cooler than I was expecting it to be, but still nonetheless it's within range. The North Atlantic Oscillation is running a positive, which means that the westerlies do get back in for a time, but then it goes negative, look, towards the end of the run. That's the cooler air trying to get back in, and we need to watch that for a breakdown of westerlies again across the Atlantic, with blocking perhaps trying to get back in. And the Arctic Oscillation shows us bouncing around the neutral levels throughout, so the cold air tending to be held at the pole, but look, that reduction to negative is what I'm going to be watching during the coming days. So that's what we've got to keep our eyes on. I hope that information has been useful for you. As always, this site's kept free of charge by the advert you see around, so if you see an advert you like, click on it, go through to it, it generates revenue for us, and it shows the advertiser that you're interested in what we're doing. So once again, thanks for watching, and keep the sun shining.